Om Shanti. Today Baba says, sweet children, the Father is laying the foundation of heaven. You children have to become His helpers and accumulate your share. Follow God's directions and make your reward elevated. Now, the whole world thinks that God is going to help us. But Baba says, no, I come, I take the initiative, I am laying the foundation of heaven, the world which everyone desires. Heaven is the place where there is peace, purity, prosperity, happiness, everything. And Baba says, I am laying the foundation for that world, but you have to become my helpers. And when you become my helpers, I will give you a share, or you will earn that share by becoming my helpers. And then Baba says, how do you become Baba's helpers? So Baba also teaches us how to become helpers. So we have to follow Baba's directions to help him, because sometimes, not even sometimes, always in bhakti since 2500 years, we have thought that there are many actions which help God, or they are good actions. But Baba says, no, you don't have to go by what was taught to you in bhakti. I am giving you very clear directions about how to help me. And that is how you will make your reward elevated. Now I will first of all tell you something that Badi Didi used to tell us. So at the time of partition, she used to tell us that the ones who were coming to India from Pakistan, they were asked to fill a form, and they were told that if you fill this form and you write down what all you have here in Pakistan, then the government will give you an equal share in India. And at that time, there were many who had a lot of, broken heart and mistrust for this whole system. And they felt now they are just driving us out of our houses, and then they are telling that we will give you a compensation in the new country, and it doesn't look like that. So they didn't fill that one single form. And after they came to India, they realized that actually people were getting compensated on the basis of that form. And many repented it at that time. So what Didi was trying to say is, sometimes, you don't have faith. And so very little actions, small acts, like filling out the form, which can give you, at least this much, which you have here, if not more, that gets taken away from you because you didn't perform that small act. And it wasn't difficult, but then there was no faith. So Baba today says that you become my helpers here, and then I will give you your share So you help me create a new world, and I will give you your share in heaven. Now the thing is, you see, when there was the freedom struggle, there were people who fought for the freedom of the country. And then after the country became free, they assumed political positions also, or they got the respect of a freedom fighter. But they didn't know they would get all of that. But you see, anybody who participates in liberation, in a freedom struggle, they get the reward of it later. So Baba says that I'm going to give you the reward if you become my helpers. But what kind of helpers do we have to become? So Baba gives us directions for that. Now let's understand what direction Baba says. So Baba says, in order to create your reward, you have to perform good actions. Now you see that we know that when you do good, you get good. So if you want a good reward, you have to perform good actions. Now in Bhakti, what we did is, they give donations and perform charity, and also build pilgrim rest houses in God's name, because it is He who gives the fruit of all of that. You are now making effort on the basis of Srimad, whereas all the rest of the world make effort on the basis of human directions. Now let's understand this. So Baba says, earlier human beings taught human beings about what is a good action, and those were human directions. And what were human directions? So Baba gives 3 examples. One is give donation, perform charity, or build pilgrim rest houses in God's name. So when the people go for pilgrimage, so there are people who build dharamshalas so that those pilgrims can rest, or they offer water or something. So, or they give donations, or they perform some charitable actions. These days people organize marriages. Yes, they organize samuhik vivaha so that girls can get married and all of that. Now Baba says, people think these are good actions. So in bhakti, in human dictates, manushya mat, the law is be who you are, don't try to change who you are, but do good. Yes? So continue to be vicious, but do good. Okay, so it's all about doing good, not being good. Right? And I remember that when I used to read about Ravan, I used to read that Ravan was a very big Shiv Bhakt. And then Ravan was such a big Bhakt that Ravan was bestowed with many boons. And he had so many Vardhan given by Shiva. But then he continued to be Ravan. So, even if he remembered God so much, that didn't change who he was. That only changed what he had. Yes? And this is how bhakti trains us. We always think that you will do what you do will change, what you have will change, but who you are will remain the same. So the being doesn't have to change, the doing has to change, and the having will change consequent to that. So if you do good, you will have good. But then you don't have to change who you are, so being good is out of question. And then Baba tells us now that your experience of life is according to your being. So you, the being, have a certain quality. Yes, you have a man, buddhi, you have a sanskar. The state of your mind, the focus of your attention, and the sanskars you create through acts of body, mind, and wealth, they shift your experience of life. And you are the one who attracts everything external. So if the being shifts, then the having will shift automatically, and the doing will shift automatically. That's why Baba teaches us good karma of thought, good karma done through the body, good karma done through the mind, and good karma done through wealth. And Baba says, spiritual service is the good karma. So when you serve souls, when you bring souls closer to self-awareness and to the realization of their virtues and powers, and nearer and closer to Baba, through your acts of body, mind, and wealth, that's good karma. And that good karma will make you eligible for heaven. Now let's say you are giving food to somebody every day. Let's take a very simple example. So you are giving food to somebody every day. And then one day you don't reach on time. Will that person bless you or curse you? They don't bless you that day. Why? Because you have made him dependent on yourself. You have made him spiritually disempowered. Dependency is spiritual disempowerment. And when you spiritually disempower somebody by not teaching him, how to, have the power and the virtues to fend for themselves, but fending for themselves instead of, teaching them, you are providing them, then you will ultimately not earn blessings. And that is why Baba today talks about devilish dictates, godly dictates, and divine dictates, or dictates that come from deities. So Baba says devilish dictates, or what Kali Yuga teaches you is that it looks like a good action, but actually it doesn't make you earn blessings. But Baba says, if you serve every soul, bring them to self-awareness and closer to Baba, where they can meditate and draw power from Baba and come back to their position of strength and power. If you use your body, mind, and wealth for that seva, if you contribute to Baba's task which is precisely bringing every soul closer to Baba and making them realize who they are and making them realize their divine qualities and strengths. So Baba says that is how good action is defined, not the other way around. Getting somebody married is pushing them on the path of lust. Yes, and or giving donation to somebody, alms to somebody, that is like making that person dependent. But when you invest the same money in Baba's task, where this humongous task of transforming weak souls into powerful ones through knowledge and teaching them yoga is going on. There is so much work going on in Baba's factory of producing deities out of humans. So if we invest our time, energy, thought, body, mind and wealth in this task, that is what will make us earn a reward, earn a share in heaven. So Baba says, you have to perform good actions for reward, but that good action has to be defined very well. It's not what you think is a good action, but I tell you what is a good action, and according to my directions, you perform that good action. And you see that in the world, when we don't work on ourselves, now let me tell you that even while teaching knowledge, even while teaching Raj Yoga, if you have not worked on yourself, if you have not worked on your lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, yes, then you can get attached to somebody you are teaching Raj Yoga. Or you can have an exchange of, not very pure drishti while teaching Raj Yoga also. So that's what happens in the world. And Baba says when souls don't work on their being, then whenever they are trying to do good, their sanskars of vices get activated there. And I will tell you one incident. I conducted a program some time back, like 4 to 5 years back. That program was for new souls. And then there was this one woman who came for that program, and then there were other people also who attended that program. And in that program, after the program was over, the woman asked me if she could get some financial help from the center. And then I said, we don't do that work, but if you keep attending the sessions, you will receive a lot of strength, support and direction from Baba, and I'm sure you will be able to fend for yourself. It won't be difficult. But then there were some other people in that program, and they were running an NGO, and they apparently they looked like they are very happy to help, but I could sense that they were helping her because she is a woman. So in the world, in the name of help, it's not spiritual work that happens all the time. Anybody who wants to be a helper and has sanskars of lust, anger, ego, attachment and greed, then those sanskars come into play in the guise of help very easily. And I'm not saying that it's always lust, but let's take a very simple example. you tend to dominate the one you are helping, or you start feeding your ego out of that act of help, or you start, you begin to express your anger as righteous anger, and you start holding that aggressive personality because you think that you are entitled to that personality because you are a helper. So Baba says that until and unless you receive my directions, so Baba has told us that whatever you do as seva has to be done as nimit and nirman. So you have to understand that you are Baba's instrument, and you have to have humility for it. And Baba's Shrimat every day we receive. And I think that without that Shrimat, it's very difficult to stop an act of help from turning into an act of vice. So, an act of help can very easily turn into an act of vice if you don't have these directions from Baba every day. And Baba says that so let's take another, thing. If you have not given up on attachment, and if you're still caught up in that sense of mine, then, even if you think that whatever you're doing is altruistic, ultimately your thought and your intention is very selfish. Because what is the intention then? It is always to benefit that which is yours. So Baba says that in Baba's house, there are children who really understand that they have given their life for seva. And until and unless that happens, even if you don't give up all your I and mine, if you don't surrender your life for seva, then somewhere, in the nook and corner, there will always be a selfish interest. So Baba says that spiritual work or altruistic work, or really the work of helping Baba cannot happen when you are vicious and when you have not worked on your vices, when you have not worked on your being. And the second thing is, it cannot happen if you don't understand that the only way to help someone is to uplift them spiritually. There is no other upliftment which is possible. So Baba says, this is my direction, and the devilish direction is do good, have good, don't be good. And you keep, incurring sin through that impurity of intention or impurity of action also many times. But apparently it looks like you're doing great work and you're being of help to humanity. So Baba says these are the directions, and then deity directions also Baba talks about. What are deity directions? So in Satyug, we will not do good, we will only be good. Yes, so Satyug is not about doing, it's only about being, because there nobody needs anything from you. So nobody is poor or downtrodden, or nobody is ailing, or nobody needs any kind of support, physical, spiritual or financial. So deity direction is just to be good, be who you are. It doesn't involve any act as such, just the regular acts. eating, walking, talking in a loveful, peaceful, happy state. That's it. So Baba says deities don't teach what Baba teaches. So Baba's teachings are to uplift this whole world from the dungeons of hell and make it into heaven. And that is very different from how the world wants you to act for that. And then Baba today says that I am always on the lookout for sweet-natured, soft-spoken, serviceable children. So Baba says, extremely sweet with cool natures who are serviceable. So Baba is on the lookout for such children. So if you are that, so do you think you are extremely sweet with cool nature? What is cool nature and extremely sweet? So those children who do not have traces of old vicious sanskars, and they are not sweet according to circumstance, but always sweet despite everything, and very cool nature. They do not get agitated, irritated, perturbed by words or behaviors or anything. And those children Baba loves. Baba adopts them very instantly. And let me tell you that when I have read the experiences of seniors, so those who came to Gyan and Baba adopted them instantly, and Baba asked them to belong to them and just surrender their life in spiritual seva. Those children had this speciality. They were very sweet natured and very cool nature, no trace of like Nirmala Didi. Baba always used to say, you are Nirmal Ashram. So you are like very soft and sweet, and you have that purity. So Baba always loves these children. And even though Baba is not in Sakar right now, if you have that sweetness and that cool nature within you, then, and you are serviceable, because where you need strength of the body, mind, strength of character in order to be serviceable. So Baba says, if you are serviceable and then you are sweet natured and you are cool in nature, then Baba says, I am on the lookout for you. And Baba says, and such children, when they become father's helper and they become obedient and trustworthy, then they become a king in Satyug. So if you have that nature and then you surrender and you do everything according to what Baba says, then you can very easily claim a very big inheritance. So this is something that Baba says. So be serviceable. And I've seen that this serviceability is a very big quality. I've seen brothers and sisters who have been in Gyan for very long, but their timing is so off. So they would always end up saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Or they just don't know how they rub other people the wrong way. Or I have seen that there is one brother and he would just try to caution everybody. So he's trying to help actually. He's trying to caution everybody, but then he would end up scaring people in that cautioning. And so there are lots of things, and there are some people who keep sharing what they do, and they don't follow the whole of Srimad, but personally for them, even if they are not following the whole of Srimad, they are able to stick to the path at least, right? But then when they start sharing what they do with others, they start sharing that they read this or they do that or do this, then the other person gets skeptical about the path and runs away. So they continue to be here, but then their sharing always ends up in other people leaving the path. I've seen so many incidents of this kind, and there is something very interesting about this word serviceability. So, maybe so that's why Baba says it's very important to find serviceable children who have accuracy of words, accuracy of drishti, who are able to understand what the other soul needs and, give them Baba's Shrimat according to that. So that's very important, and Baba really loves these serviceable children. So if you are working on your sweetness, if you're working on your cool nature, if you're working on your serviceability, and I will tell you one thing. So I have seen this one incident where there was one sister involved, and there was one sister and there were other people. And then somebody was very rude, very, very rude. I've seen that scene. And it was really difficult to digest that kind of a rude behavior. But then this sister, she had so much clarity that he is being rude to these people, not to me. Although she was in that group, she understood, she had so much clarity that these people have done something wrong and this person is being rude to them, and I'm not involved in this, that she, although she belonged to that group, she could keep her sanity and keep herself very, cool and calm. And while she was leaving, she told that brother, so, when you are in a better frame of mind, we will talk. And the relationship with that sister was always sweet, and with these other people, it went very sour. So Baba says, you should have so much clarity, that you are not being ill-treated, or it's not about you, or it's about that other person's nature. Sometimes, they might even be talking to you or aiming words at you. But then knowing that this person is under the sway of a vice, and I have not done any bad karma to invite this kind of a behavior. So it's about that person, and keeping your sweetness and your calmness intact in that situation, it helps change the whole game. That person becomes Babas through these small acts. And Baba says that when you have this kind of a nature where you're so cool that you can see everything with clarity, you're so sweet that your sweetness doesn't get compromised when somebody is bitter to you, and you're serviceable, you have that accuracy of behavior where you say the right thing at the right time, do the right thing at the right time, or give the right support at the right time, then Baba is on the lookout for you. So those who are that, Baba will soon, give you an offer, and you can completely belong to Baba. So Baba says, Baba loves these children, Baba wants these children to carry out their task. And Baba says that then when they become obedient and trustworthy and help Baba, they claim a big fortune for themselves. And then in the blessing, Baba today says that when something apparently bad is happening, then you should be able to understand that you are gaining an experience in that situation which is good. Yes, so Baba today, let me read it out to you. Baba says, even if something is totally bad, there will definitely be one or other good within it. Everything has the goodness of teaching you a lesson merged within it, because everything is instrumental in making you experienced. It teaches you the lesson of patience. Someone may be forceful, and so at that time you would be learning the lesson of patience or tolerance. Yes? So instead of asking in any situation what is happening or why is it happening, if you ask the question, in this, what is this situation trying to teach me? And you see that in every situation, if you are uncomfortable, it's because of some sanskar that you're holding inside. And if you look deeply and closely, that situation is prodding you to deal with that sanskar. And if you deal with that sanskar, let's say the sanskar of feeling insulted. Yes? So if there is a situation and your sanskar of feeling insulted is being triggered, then you can use that situation to overcome that sanskar and build self-respect. So how do you build self-respect when there is a situation which is triggering your sanskar of feeling insulted? So let's say somebody is saying you're good for nothing, you did nothing in life, you're worth nothing, and then that is running like commentary in your mind. So they are speaking it and you're playing it in your mind. Then you tell yourself, I'm very good, not to the other person. Tell yourself, I'm very good, Baba loves me. And I'm the one who Baba looks forward to meet every day. I'm the one who Baba talks to personally every day. So I'm very good. And if this person doesn't recognize it, he has bad taste or she has bad taste. I can't help it. So you can use that situation to build swaman, build self-esteem. So Baba says, don't look at any situation like a bad thing, but use that situation to get experienced, have a taste of the treasures that Baba gives you. Let me tell you one incident. There was this girl and she told me that I had never practiced detachment. And one day my parents were fighting. And they fight often, and ever since I have been a small child, their fights have been quite traumatizing for me. But that day when they were fighting, I just took a seat in the corner, and I also took a very courageous position inside myself, and I thought, I'm just watching a movie. Why am I getting emotional about it? And then I started connecting with Baba, and I started sending vibrations of peace in that room. And after 5 minutes, they stopped fighting, both of them, and they started looking at me. And they thought there's something wrong with me. And they came to me and asked me, what happened? Why are you sitting so quiet? So then I said, I'm giving you peace. And they just stopped fighting and they hugged me and they took me inside. So Baba says that, you can use a situation to practice what Baba is telling you. Baba is making us aware of our power to tolerate, power to have a lot of self-esteem in a situation where you can feel insulted. Baba is giving us the knowledge of being a detached observer in the most fearful of circumstances. So Baba says that if you don't look at the situation as a problem, but you look at it as an opportunity where you can practice what Baba has given you, then the situation doesn't leave you a scar, but it leaves you a gift of experience. And that experience is very rich, and you feel, you're growing every day through the gifts that these situations bring to you. So when you're with Baba, so in Hindi it is said, बाबा के साथ तूफान भी तोहफा बन जाता है. So when you're with Baba, an apparent storm becomes a gift. Yes, so Baba says today, this is why it is said, whatever is happening is good, and whatever is to happen will be even better. Because when the times are more difficult, you will learn better lessons. You simply need to have an intellect to take the goodness from it. It's all about the buddhi. If you have the buddhi to extract goodness from a situation, you can do it. Do not see anything bad, but take the goodness and you will become number one. Okay, Om Shanti.